journalist at a time, I mean, can you even imagine that time, given the number of channels we have and most channels that cannot even watch anymore, we are already swiftly moving to digital. But आप वो ज़माना याद करिए, most of you are too young, but maybe some of your professors, your parents will remember that time, जब हमारे पास सिर्फ दूरदर्शन था, right? So we had only the public broadcaster. और हमने ऐसे वक्त पर पत्रकारिता शुरू की जब हमारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन आधे घंटे का कैप्सूल बनाती थी अंग्रेजी में और आज तक तब एक प्रोडक्शन हाउस था वो हिंदी में बनाती थी. So that is how far back my experience of journalism goes. My first major experience, मेरा जो सबसे पहले मेरी दो significant journalistic experiences एक करियर की शुरुआत में. One was here in Rajasthan. So I'm going to ask you all a quiz question now, and I'm hoping that one of you will know the answer. How many of you know about a woman called Bhavri Devi? Anyone? Is anyone going to be able to tell me कि Bhavri Devi कौन है और उनके साथ क्या हुआ? आप बताइए पहले अपना नाम, कहाँ से है और फिर बताइए.
Hello ma'am, this is Kunal Goyal. I'm from Central University of Rajasthan and I'm a media student. And Bhavri Devi was a nurse in her earlier times. After that, there was some controversy happened with her. There was a political party she was affiliated and about to be,
So that was another Bhavri Devi, but you are right. दो Bhavri Devi. Okay. और जिन Bhavri Devi की आप बात कर रहे हैं, उस Bhavri Devi की मैं नहीं बात कर रही. अब आप में से कोई और बताइए कि वो, you are not wrong by the way, Kunal. You are also right. पर जिस Bhavri Devi की मैं बात कर रही हूँ, सर आप.
भौरी देवी जयपुर के पास एक छोटा सा गांव है और वो कुम्हार की जाति से बर्तन बनाती थी और उसके साथ की जो जमीन थी उसका मकान थे वहाँ के गाँव के जो गुजर लोग थे वो उस पर कब्जा करना चाहते थे. उन्होंने उसके साथ गैंगरेप किया और दिग्विजय सिंह उस वक्त यहाँ के गृह मंत्री थे. उन्होंने इसको टेकअप किया और टेकअप करने के बाद ये वो इतनी मशहूर हुई कि वो भारतवर्ष का प्रतिनिधित्व जापान में किया.
अच्छा, आपकी कुछ हद तक अकाउंट ठीक है. अब इसमें मैं कुछ और फैक्ट जोड़ती हूँ. Bhavri Devi, जैसे कि इन्होंने कहा, was the name of a Dalit woman who used to live in a village not far from Jaipur. It was one of my earliest assignments that I was sent to do. और उनके साथ, जैसे कि सर ने बताया, एक कैंडिडेट हुआ. और मैं जब उस कहानी को कवर करने आई तो मैंने देखा कि she had been assaulted by, क्योंकि वो एक गवर्नमेंट का प्रोग्राम था चाइल्ड मैरिजेस को रोकने की, to stop the marriages of children. और भवरी देवी उस प्रोग्राम के साथ जुड़ी हुई थी, सरकार के लिए काम करती थी. और उन्होंने जब एक साल का बच्चा था, एक साल का बच्चा जब उसका विवाह रोकने की कोशिश की, when she tried to stop the marriage of a 1-year-old infant, she was raped by 5 men in the village, including the father of that child. उनके साथ जो बलात्कार हुआ, उनमें जो अक्यूज थे उनमें से एक आदमी उस बच्ची का फादर था, राइट? एंड जब उन्होंने ये केस लड़ने का फैसला किया, when she decided to fight for justice, उनको गांव की एक तरफ ले दिया गया कि you are ostracized, और उनको बोला गया कि आपको कुएं का पानी नहीं मिलेगा, you will not have access to the village well, and we will penalize you for the fact that you chose to raise your voice as a woman. She was a poor woman, an illiterate woman who decided to raise her voice. In an incredible turn of events, one of the High Court judgments that came actually said कि ये रेप का जो एलिगेशन है ये झूठा है. क्यों? क्योंकि ये तो दलित है और वो जो आदमी है वो ऊपरी जाति है. The men who she accused, they are of the so-called upper caste, so they wouldn't have wanted to touch a lower caste woman in courts. फिर वो लड़ती हुई सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक पहुंची. She took her fight all the way to the Supreme Court. Now I'll ask you another quiz question. How many of you know what the Vishaka guidelines are? Young women here should know what the Vishaka guidelines. Young men can know also. You raised your hands. So you're going to tell us about the Vishaka guidelines. Tell us your name, where you're from, and then tell us what the Vishaka guidelines are.
My name is Aditya. My name is Aditya and I'm from Jaipur.
Some of you graduate and you start working. The protection that you will have as middle class, upper middle class, educated women are called the Vishaka guidelines, the protection of the workplace from sexual harassment. अब मैं आपको बताती हूँ कि भवरी देवी की जो लड़ाई थी वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक गई और भवरी देवी को आज भी, मुझे ये स्टोरी किए हुए 25 साल से ऊपर हो गए थे, उनको आज भी इंसाफ नहीं मिला। उन अक्यूज में से 2 लोगों की शायद डेथ हो गई है, लेकिन सबसे बड़ी देन उनकी जो भारत की औरतों की तरफ रही वो ये रही, her biggest contribution, the contribution of this poor Dalit woman, a survivor of a gang rape who has still not got justice, is that you and I today are protected from sexual harassment at the workplace because of her. क्योंकि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये तय किया कि भवरी देवी के साथ जब अब्यूज हुआ तो वो अपना काम कर रही थी। She was in a government program to stop child marriage. She was at her place of work. तो उनके केस से वो बॉल द विशाखा गाइडलाइंस। तो अब आप ये आइरनी एक समझिए कि उनको खुद इंसाफ नहीं मिला, लेकिन उनकी हिम्मत से, from her courage was born the guidelines that protect women like you and me. Now this was amongst the first stories that I ever reported on in my life, and it transformed the way I looked at journalism. और मुझे पहली बार ये एहसास हुआ कि पत्रकारिता से जो मुद्दे मेरे इमीडिएट जिंदगी के बाहर हैं, the issues that are outside of my immediate socio-economic realities are the issues that I will get to report. तो ये मेरा पहला significant relationship बना जर्नलिज्म के साथ। उसके बाद तो I think none of you are old enough to remember 1999 में एक war हुई। Anyone knows which war? Kargil war. We are marking this week how many years since that war? 23. Right? 23 years since India won at Kargil. कारगिल में क्या हुआ? पाकिस्तान की तरफ से इंट्रूडर्स आए, उनके खुद के आर्मी के रेगुलर्स थे लेकिन वो यूनिफॉर्म में नहीं आए। उन्होंने ये ढोंग किया कि हम इरेगुलर्स हैं, हम तो मतलब फ्रीलांस, सो दैट पाकिस्तान का डिनायबिलिटी, पाकिस्तान बाद में कह सके कि भाई ये तुम्हारे हाथ थी। सो दे डिडंट कम इन यूनिफॉर्म बट दे वर मेन ऑफ द पाकिस्तान आर्मी। दे केम इन 8 किलोमीटर्स इनसाइड इंडियन टेरिटरी, और तब ये अंडरस्टैंडिंग रहती थी इंडिया और पाकिस्तान के बीच में कि जब बहुत सर्दी पड़ती है तो दोनों ही साइड जो हाईएस्ट माउंटेन पीक्स थे उनको छोड़ देती थी, तो पीछे आ जाती थी। That space was taken by the Pakistanis. It was Indian territory, and the Indian military had to climb upwards. उनको पहाड़ के ऊपर चढ़ के उन घुसपैठियों को बाहर पुश बैक करना। That was my second most significant encounter with journalism, और जिसके बारे में मैंने आज सुबह ही एक पैनल में कहा, the assignment that changed me for life. उसने मुझे प्रोफेशनली पर्सनली जो भी मैं आज हूँ वो एक्सपीरियंस ने मुझे सिखाया। सो आई हैव टू फाइट टू गेट परमिशन एज अ वुमन टू गो टू द फ्रंट लाइन। आज तो आप देखती हैं कि वुमेन आर फ्लाइंग फाइटर जेट्स, वुमेन आर लैंडिंग हेलीकॉप्टर्स और एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर्स, लेकिन 1999 में ऐसा नहीं था। 1999 में मिलिट्री जोन्स वर ऑल मेल जोन्स, एंड आई हैव टू वेरी बेग कि भाई मुझे भी जाने दीजिए। और मुझे बोला गया कि भाई आपके लिए वहाँ कमरा नहीं होगा सोने के लिए, खाने का बंदोबस्त नहीं हो सकता, बाथरूम नहीं है, देयर आर नो बाथरूम्स, देयर इज नो प्लेस टू स्लीप, यू कांट गेट स्पेशल ट्रीटमेंट। आई सेड आई अंडरस्टैंड दैट, एंड द रीजन दिस इज सो इम्पोर्टेंट इज व्हाट आई लर्नड एट कारगिल, covering a war at the front line, almost fighting life and death situations every day. That prepared me for what I did in the last 2 years during COVID. क्योंकि कोविड के दौरान जब लॉकडाउन था और सब पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट बंद था, उस साल मैंने एक टीम ऑफ 4 बना के, अब तक मैं टीवी से हट के डिजिटल में आ चुकी थी, मैंने 30,000 किलोमीटर की जर्नी, 30,000 किलोमीटर जर्नी सड़क से बाय रोड फ्रॉम दिल्ली टू केरला is how I traveled 120 days on the road, from which I wrote a book, Humans of COVID. For those interested, there are also copies on sale outside. पर मैं ये क्यों बता रहा हूँ? क्योंकि कारगिल में जो मैंने सीखा, what I learned covering a war prepared me for everything else that would come in my life thereafter. अब आप मुझे कुछ बताइए कि आप में से शेरशाह मूवी किसने देखी? काफी लोगों ने देखी। अच्छा, तो वो किसकी लाइफ में बेस्ड है, आप मुझे बताएंगे? Come here, tell me your name, where you're from, and then tell everyone the story.
My name is Mitali Goyal, and I'm from Jaipur itself. I'm currently doing BBA from Pune University. And the movie was about a major captain, Vikram Batra, his life story, how he protected his country, and how he dedicated his life for the country, to the country, and for us, and set an example for all of us.
Okay. So that's absolutely right. And now let me tell you something very exciting for me and very satisfying. आपको विक्रम बत्रा के किसी को सबसे फेमस लाइन मालूम है? क्या बोले? Anyone? Come on, let's hear it from the hall. ये दिल मांगे वो. So the biggest satisfaction of my life is that line was said to me in an interview. That line, ये दिल मांगे वो. And now let me tell you the story behind that line. तो मैं कारगिल में थी और मेरी उम्र तब 26 साल की थी, 26 and a half. जो सोल्जर्स थे उनकी उम्र 23-24, 23-24. So they were really my age group. Now a lot of the other reporters were more interested in multi-barrel rocket launcher ये हो रहा है, ये weaponry के साथ हो रहा है, ये on the hardware of the war. I was more interested in the software of the war. What do I mean by that? I wanted to understand कि एक 23 साल का लड़का जब जंग में जाता है, जब उसको पता नहीं कि वो जिंदा रहेगा भी या नहीं, तो उसके दिल में क्या गुजरती है, और वो जो दिमाग में एक डीमंस होते हैं, द डीमंस ऑफ योर ब्रेन, वो कैसे उनको कॉन्कर करता है. तो मेरा इंटरेस्ट इसमें था कि मैं ये कहानी कैसे कैप्चर करूँ. तो मैं रोज लोगों से, सोल्जर्स से, जवानों से पूछती थी, डू यू फील स्कैर्ड? एंड नो वन हैड एवर आस्क्ड हिम द क्वेश्चन बिफोर, डू यू फील स्कैर्ड? एंड when I asked Vikram Batra this question, he was not a cult figure then, he was just one more soldier at the front line. तो मैंने विक्रम बत्रा से पूछा कि आपको डर नहीं लगता? He was between missions. He had just come down from one mountain peak and he was scheduled to climb up another. Please understand the war. We were on the highway and the line was taken on the mountain peaks. और हमें ऊपर जाने की इजाजत तो थी नहीं. So we would cover the war from the highway. And वहाँ से पाकिस्तान was also providing support from the other side of the ridgeline. तो पाकिस्तान की तरफ से bombs गिरते थे, every minute there were clouds of smoke, and we used to have the Bofors here और हम उनको pound करते थे और उस covering fire पे हमारे soldiers ऊपर जाते थे. So I asked विक्रम बत्रा कि विक्रम, आपको डर नहीं लगता? मुझे अभी भी मेरे पास एक तस्वीर है कि मैं विक्रम के साथ और कुछ और सोल्जर्स हैं एक टेंट में बैठी हूँ, और एक मुझे पता नहीं, जर्नलिज्म में ना आप लोग सीखेंगे, डिटेल इज एवरीथिंग. तो मुझे उस टाइम की एक बड़ी अजीब चीज़ याद है कि उस टेंट में एक कॉस्मोपॉलिटन मैगजीन थी, एक कोई पुरानी सी, एंड दो सोल्जर्स वर जस्ट टू डिस्ट्रैक्ट देमसेल्व्स वर गोइंग थ्रू द न्यूज़, थ्रू दैट मैगजीन. एंड वो कॉस्मोपॉलिटन मैगजीन वहाँ पड़ी थी घास पे, और मैं एक टेंट के नीचे बैठी थी, और मैंने विक्रम से कहा, भाई विक्रम आपको डर नहीं लगता? आज उसके है. एंड ही थ्रू हिज हेड बैक एंड ही लाफ्ड. एंड कई लोग होते हैं ना जिनकी लाफ्टर की आंखों तक जाती है, जैसे कहते योर स्माइल रीच्ड योर आईज. So his eyes were twinkling and he laughed. He understood, he smiled, and you could immediately tell कि ये कितना जिंदा दिल इंसान है. He's such a passionate man. And he said, "ये दिल मांगे." And that was on camera. That was my interview. And then that became, उस समय वो होता था Pepsi Cola का ad. ये जो line है, it was the line of a Pepsi Cola jingle. And Vikram Batra converted it into a nation's slogan. And to me, the biggest honor of my life was that I was able to do an interview that actually became the stuff of legend, on which movies were made, which every person, none of you were even born in 1999, and yet you know the line "Ye Dil Mange Wo." So what could be more satisfying for a journalist than to have been able to be the person who captured that? अब आप फास्ट फॉरवर्ड करके आ जाइए कि ऐसी कहानियाँ तो बहुत हैं और मैं आप लोगों से सुनना चाहती हूँ. जो टीवी शाम को 9 बजे ऑन करते हैं, आप में please raise your hand. मैं कुछ हाथ देख रही हूँ, but not too many. You want to tell us, do you consume your content only on television, or do you also sometimes surf on the phone or your laptop?
I mostly see it on television, but I do surf on the mobile app.
Okay. So data tells us that you are an extinct species almost, or a diminishing species, I should say. So older people older than even me, I'm 50 years old. People older than me still have the habit of turning on television at a designated time. पर आपकी उम्र के जो लोग हैं, बहुत ही कम, और इसमें भाषा का कोई लेन देन नहीं है, बहुत ही कम लोग एक डेजिग्नेटेड टाइम पर टेलीविजन देखते हैं. वो टेलीविजन का कंटेंट कंज्यूम करते भी हैं तो अपने फोन्स पे करते हैं. So even if you're watching television, you're consuming, a lot of you are getting content from WhatsApp forwards, a lot of fake news with that, right? But I realized very quickly that the present was in digital. And so I moved and I wanted to, it was a now or never moment for me. I knew that if I didn't do it now, I'd probably never do it. I had to push myself out of my comfort zone. And it so happened, ऐसा हुआ कि मेरे ये करते ही कुछ महीनों बाद मेरे प्लेटफॉर्म का नाम है मोजो. Anyone, Mojo by the way doesn't mean mobile journalism. It's a word that has a meaning. Anyone knows the meaning of Mojo? Anyone? Mojo means magic. And I wanted to rediscover the magic of journalism. The magic that made a difference to the life of Bhavri Devi. The magic that enabled me to be a reporter at Kargil. The magic that made me take the risk of going out on 120 days in year one. And from river bank to river bank in year two, trying to count how many people have died from COVID, chasing literally graves.
Cathartic expression, writing a book,
Yes.
right? Wherein I think time was never in favor of journalists during the whole COVID session because you were directly exposed to death, and sadness, and tears, whatnot, right? So there is a two versions here. One is you have to give the truth and you are seeing the truth. And how the digestion of how you were able to absorb the whole sadness or even the death. I mean, I think death after death. In the day you saw, I mean, in the book it is so clear how many deaths you had seen in a day. So also, personally at home, and you had a lot of things that you had been going through that. So were you able to depersonalize or detach from your home news and the news what you were covering?
I think we all live reasonably messy, emotional lives in the kind of work we do. I don't think there's any separation. All of us juggle these emotions, juggle them, and you try and reach a certain level of optimum efficiency. In my life, I have found that I'm more defensive about my peers. तब मुझे थोड़ा शर्म आती थी बोलने में. अब मुझे नहीं मुझे आप अभी बैठी होगी मैं रोज मुझे कोई शर्म नहीं आएगी. But when I was in my 20s, I used to be a little embarrassed about crying. Also because I had to fight to go to the war front as a woman, and there was a sense that ladki hai roegi. But in Kargil, when I was reporting the war, I found that while I was on the war front, I was able to hold back my emotion. But once the war ended, there were weeks and weeks when I would wake up in the middle of the night with nightmares. So it was a deferred reaction, postponement. And I think मेरे साथ COVID में भी यही कि it was a I had to retain a certain level of functionality, and then the collapse came. And then when the collapse came, it was just a full and total collapse. And if I hadn't written the book, I think I would have collapsed very bad.
Exactly, I guess that's given you a lot of strength. But over this whole cathartic expression of your book, have you tried digging into your internal feelings and probably reflecting it back in a more therapeutic way? Because I'm sure all these memories, maybe the smell of something burning or even an ambulance siren, right? That would trigger a lot of memories, right? So your fitness of your mental health, how was your approach towards your...
To be honest, by the time I finished reporting COVID, it was time to write the book. Or वो book लिखते publish करते traveling with the book, and then I think I've not dealt with many of the things that I should deal with professionally. और मैं सोचती हूँ कई बारी should I make a therapist, will it help me? Because I'm quite self-aware. मैं अपने आप deconstruct करती रहती हूँ. So in fact, a lot of my friends advised me. My sister, for example, saw a grief counselor. My journalist friends told me that you must go into therapy. My friends told me we can't help you anymore. Sometimes I call my friends and I'm just crying.
Exactly, and that's my question. That you reached out to your friends and you did hear about this therapy and all these things. I want even the journalists to properly understand.
No. Listen, I want to say there's no embarrassment in seeking
Yes.
professional help. Exactly. I have not done it because I'm a very different sort of person, because I'm highly self-aware. I'm able to see what's happening to me, and even I think I need it and I need to. So please, if you feel like you need help, seek help. Don't keep yourself. Your friends will not be able to help you in the same way.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sure even you would be having your own journey of experiencing these things.
Namaskar everyone, this is Nidyashi from London Talk. I have a show called Baat Chit, where we talk about mental health. So, before coming to journalism as well, I used to do poetry, and every single time when I was on stage, मैं कैसी भी कविता पढ़ रही हूँ, and if it's emotional, I would just cry. And some people would say because you will get criticism, ड्रामे कर रही है, and things like that.
वो लड़कियों की बात कहा जाता है, लड़कों की
हाँ, exactly. That's the bias there. So, but that's my natural self. I would do that क्योंकि मैं लिखते समय भी शायद वैसा ही फील कर रही थी और सुनाते समय शायद जब manifestation हो गया उन feelings का, I was doing that. So, before these corona years, these 2 years have been really difficult because मैं stage पर नहीं जा पाई. I was literally asking भगवान मेरे को stage पर जाना है, वापस से look मिल गया. So that's some spiritual thing that I do. Okay. जो भी है. So Mr. Saurabh Dwivedi came and he asked me to make this show जो मैं अभी continuously बना रही हूँ, and I've been continuously posting about mental health and how I identify myself as a hypersensitive person. And hypersensitivity and journalism, they don't go hand in hand. ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता कि एक इंसान जो हर छोटी चीज से ओवरवेल्म हो जाता है, जैसे हर चीज मैं एक तस्वीर देख लूं और मेरी आंखों से आंसू हो जाएंगे. बट मैंने कहा हर व्यक्ति जो इस इंडस्ट्री में काम कर रहा है उसकी अलग अलग जगह है. आई थिंक आई गॉट माई शो. आई एम दिस हाइपर सेंसिटिव पर्सन. आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड इमोशंस वेल, एंड probably that's why I'm doing this show, and I'm getting this overwhelming response from people. Thank you so much for talking about it.